kind of go from there.
All right, here, we're recording now. My apologies, I forgot that I was supposed to do that. So what were we talking about?
We're talking about Kingston and you being a homebody.
Yes,
And
yeah, about that. The truth is, and of course it has nothing to do with sickness and people getting sick and people having mental problems because of this pandemic, but I kind of like it. It's sort of like a massive snow day to me, you know. I like the staying at home part a lot. So I don't know. I of course hate the pandemic. You know, it's just funny that the lifestyle works for me. I guess I work well in a pandemic lifestyle.
But at the same time, you're a musician and you were doing a lot of live shows before the pandemic happened. So how is that kind of?
Well, I mean, you just hit the head, you know, the nail on the head. Like that's the part that's hard, obviously, because from a earning standpoint, it affects, and a lot of people or businesses are affected, obviously. And you know, I do enjoy being on stage, so yeah, I miss that.
Definitely, yeah. And you were playing bars and stuff. So you do your own solo music, or do you do covers, or?
Depends. The songs, I have about 4 or 5 songs that I sing that I wrote, but they're all comedic. I
Okay.
haven't been able to write a serious song. I don't know why.
Right.
So I play other people's songs that I love. So I would say it's about 85% covers and the rest would be me if you came to see me play solo.
So it's a music show, but it's also a comedy show at the same time.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but I wouldn't call it a comedy show, but yes, if I'm on stage, I'm going to be acting like an idiot and trying to make people laugh. You know,
Do you ever throw stand-up in there?
I have a history with stand-up that goes back a long way. I never, I think it's a very difficult art form. And I think the hours that you need to put into it, I was putting into my guitar. So I never really felt that comfortable. I have some new material I've written, but I haven't gone up on stage solo without Kenny, because we do it, we do stand-up together in a long time. And I have great respect for the craft, and I just would hate to, you know, I think I'm writing more interesting material than back when I was doing it. And I wasn't very good because I didn't spend the time, you know.
Definitely. It's much harder to do it solo than, I mean, I could imagine without Kenny, because of the chemistry that you guys have on
Yeah.
stage. And I've seen the live show and it's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly great to have him there. And, you know, he would never admit it, but I'm sure he thinks it's great that I'm there. But it's just a totally different dynamic than going out there on your own and talking to the audience. But I've done both. And I just, you know, people do it for so many years and get so fucking good at it, right? And I'm nowhere near that journey. Maybe on the guitar, you know, I feel like that, but not on.
Yeah, and I've seen you pull out the guitar in a live show too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah, that's, you know,
It just
whatever.
adds a little element of it. So
Yeah, I mean, you know, the show that I think we're pretty lazy, to be honest with you. Like we could do all kinds of stuff, but a lot of it's Kenny not wanting to do stuff, I think. And it's also just, it's easy if we just go up to the microphones and talk. There's no props. There's no, you know.
well, I think that's
it's easy
comedy
to
in
travel.
general, because you work 45 minutes to an hour a night, right? And then
Yeah.
the rest of the time you're traveling and stuff.
Well,
So,
usually an hour and a half, right? We do,
yeah.
you know, but 90 minutes. But yeah, it's, you know, it's nice to travel light, as you can imagine.
Do you ever get sick of being at the live shows and the fans shouting out lines to you from the shows, or does that kind of?
No. I've learned to work with the trolls, you know, and it was sort of I figured it out a long time ago. And I love interacting with the audience. So the fact that they do that opens up for me to be able to attack them. And, you know, depending on how it's going that night, if you can hook into somebody and get a lot of laughs with them, you know, for whatever reason. So that doesn't happen all the time, but I love my relationship with the audience, because it's complicated, it's stupid, it's mean, it encompasses a lot of stuff that's great comedically, right?
And that's what the Kenny versus Spenny fan would want from a live show, from seeing you guys, I would imagine.
Yeah. You know,
And one thing that totally, I mean, surprised me during the live show was when you did the prostate exam.
Yeah.
I mean, that I know I didn't see that coming. I don't know if anyone else did, but how many prostate exams do you think you gave out on the tour?
Well, it was a couple of tours. I would say probably in the neighborhood of 35 to 40. Very rarely did we not do it because there wasn't a volunteer. Once I think that happened, almost, and it might have been in my hometown in Kingston. But I think we've pretty much put that to bed. I'll probably do it one more time because we're talking about doing like a documentary about our live show, basically the live show being shot properly.
Right.
And take the best of the last 5 years of our material on the road, because you always have to write new stuff. You can't tour the same cities with the same show year after year.
Definitely. Yeah, you always got to keep it fresh if you want to keep getting people in the seats.
Right, right. So so that means we have like a lot of material to choose from for this. So you know, it'll be fun.
Yeah, and you guys play bars and you play theaters. Which one do you like better from an audience perspective? Like, which do you find reacts more to the show? I would imagine it'd be the bar because of the
Yeah,
energy.
yeah. I mean, you know, it depends where you're playing. Cities are different. Vancouver's a different feel than Edmonton. Edmonton's different than Toronto, and vice, you know. I it doesn't really matter to me. It's just, you know, it's if there's a certain point where you feel like you've got the audience where you want them, and that's kind of amazing. So it's not really based on what room it is. It's more based on what the vibe is of whatever room I'm in. You know what I mean? Those are the ones that just, you know, Kenny's on fire. I'm doing my shtick. It's good. Uh, but it has nothing to do with, I'm sure it's happened in tiny clubs and in big rooms, but not all the time, you know. It's
Yeah.
always good, but sometimes it's just better than others. And it's a combination of the audience, our performance, you know.
What's your favorite city to go out on tour? Like when you're booking the tour, what do you say and be like, all right, I got to go to this city. We
I
got to go
like
to this city.
Vancouver. I like Victoria. I like Munich. I like LA, New York, Chicago. Um, you know, all the usual suspects. I've never been. I'd love to go down to Texas, like to Austin. It would be great, you know, but we don't have a clear view of what our audiences would be like in a lot of these places. So it's a
It's
little
just kind of
risky.
you get it from being at the show, and it's
Well,
different
I don't.
audience.
We never really, with Americans, we're not entirely sure. You know, certain cities are just big cities, and we do okay. But when you do a tour, you want to do as many shows as you can, so that the first couple of shows covers all your expenses and the rest is profit. So that means you have to, when you travel, you don't want to travel too far to the next one, right? So you kind of do a tour in a clump, a state or a province, and that's the best way to make money. But in the States, I'm not sure that, you know, like we could play Vancouver, but we'll also sell out, you know, all these little cities, you know, Victoria, so it's worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the crossover's been good to the US market. Does it translate
We
just
haven't,
as
we don't know.
well?
We haven't really, haven't really had much to do with the US, you know, not
Right.
a whole lot. So, like we've never played Buffalo, for example, which is close to Toronto, or is a huge fan base for us, and that may make no difference. I'm just, you know, I'm not sure, but I've had friends, comics that have played and had great shows, and they're not nearly as well known, and I don't think as funny as Kenny and I are. So, you know, we'll see.
Yeah, and I mean you
Really
and
about
Kenny.
something like we don't when we get paid for live work, we ask for the money, the deposit, and then we get the money right afterwards.
Yeah,
So the promoter's taking the risk. We get a
definitely,
guarantee, right? So,
definitely.
you know, we've got someone in the States right now starting to look to see, you know, where we could play and if it makes sense financially. But like Australia might make sense, but it'd be crazy expensive to get there. But we're pretty big over there, and then we could hit Sydney, you know, Perth, and that might make it worthwhile, you know. But it's hard to figure out these things in certain places.
Yeah, I think you pretty much have to go there just to kind of find out how well it's going to be.
No, you got to find a promoter who's willing to risk
Who's willing
paying
to take
us.
that chance on you? Yeah.
Yeah, that's really what it boils down to at this point. You
And
know,
Brandon
again,
does like a good
we
chance
could
as
do it
well.
another way where, you know, we just get, you know, take the risk, but we don't like to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, you and Kenny are both married now, and you got kids. Or would you plan a world tour if you had the time? Would you? Is that something you guys wanted to
Yeah,
do,
I
or it
mean, it wouldn't be like when you say a world tour, it would be
wouldn't
just
be anything
it would
long?
be piecemeal, and it's obviously wouldn't be the whole world, English speaking countries, some places in Europe, Scandinavia. But, or would we like Iceland? I think we do really well there. But outside of Iceland, I don't think we do well in Reykjavik, right? So
Right.
most likely we'll never go to Iceland because it'll cost so much to get there for 1, 2 shows maybe we could do there. But we have a fan base there. But that's what people don't understand about touring, right? The geographics has to make sense. The money has to make sense.
Yeah, that's why you can't go to certain cities, and some
Yeah.
fans get a little bit upset at that sometimes. And
Right. So then so half the time we got to, you don't want to get into a situation, but it happens all the time where you have to take a plane to the next city as opposed to a drive, right? All of a sudden it's just more expensive. It's just hotel rooms. It's a fun business. I love it. I actually love doing it, but you have to be careful and it's about making money. You can never forget that, right?
well, definitely, you're a working entertainer, so you
Yeah.
gotta make that money. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
how often do you see Kenny nowadays?
Well, we speak a fair bit on the phone. Not a lot, just by virtue of, the live stream we got together for that. We live in different cities. And yeah, you're right. We both have kids and young kids at home. And you'll see. You seem pretty young, but when you get older, you'll see. You'll
Yeah,
have your kids or whatever. Your friends will have their kids, and people get busy and you just don't get to spend time with them. But I do when we tour, which we haven't been. We were together quite a bit before COVID when we were working, right?
yeah, yeah. I'm pretty young. Like when I grew up watching you guys, I was 12 years old. Not to make you feel old or anything, but
Yeah. Oh yeah.
when the
No.
pilot aired in 2002, I was 12.
Yeah.
But I mean, I watched it as a teenager and everything, and kind of grew up on that. And then when I got to be an adult, and you guys had the live shows, and you were touring with the live shows, it was so cool to see that, like, in front of you. Do you ever have any experiences like that with fans where they just, they're so shell shocked that they're seeing the show live because they
Well,
watched it on
like
TV?
little things happen, like when we do the meet and greets afterwards, and we pose with people. Like I'll put my arm around them, and you can feel like one of them will be shaking, like physically shaking.
Yeah,
Which I just think it could be anybody. It doesn't have to be me. Someone famous that they know. They've just never been. There's certainly nothing to be nervous about. But most people are, my fan base, if you follow my social media, it's strange. It's like people loving to make fun of me, who actually like me, to people who make fun of me who actually don't like me, to people that really like me, to people that just like the show. So and I've made my relationship with them part of what I do. So it's a peculiar thing.
speaking of that, we have a very important holiday coming up for you, Tuesday, April 27th,
Yeah,
National Unblocking Day,
it is. Well, the great unblocking, we're calling
the
it.
great unblocking.
Um, it's international in scope, actually. Yeah, we're gonna do that and see how that goes. See what kind of train wreck we can get going on
See how
that.
long that'll last.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm still not even sure how I'm going to do it. I mean, I could just give amnesty to everybody at once, just go on all my platforms, unblock, 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 unblock. But I think I'm going to do it a little slower, maybe talk to them, and videotape them, and see what kind of content I could get with them, because I have a feeling they don't understand what the spirit of this is. But we'll see. You'll see it play out.
Right. What's the biggest thing you want to misspell? The biggest rumor you want to misspell, maybe about the show?
Well, I don't know Wolfish anything, number one. I
That
didn't
seems to always be brought up in the comment section a lot
I,
too. So,
I didn't kill his dogs.
yeah,
Some things are just so ridiculous that I don't care. But I never know who believes what, because you can't control what people believe, or I don't know what they've seen,
I
or
think we've learned that this year more than any year.
why is that?
In the past with the pandemic and everything, that we really
Yeah.
can't control what people believe and
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
what they want to believe. And
The Trump era. Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
So Yeah, I mean, that's basically the question was, what exactly was, what was your question?
The question was, um, I think it was the biggest misspell to misspell the
Oh,
rumor and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, I said wolfish, yeah, there's, there's a few, I mean, I think that the thing I don't like is I'm sort of like this good guy, and I don't like that. That sort of just came out of Kenny being so obviously the bad guy. I don't want to be the bad guy either. I just don't like I can't stand oversimplification in general. I think life's complicated and we need people that can go into the weeds and fucking get good ideas. So as a result, um, I just, it's too simple, good versus evil. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't really apply to us. And when you come to the live show, that's kind of what the live show has been about, is just, Kenny sort of saying Spenny's worse than I was, why am I so bad? And me, and
And there's a lot of fans who, of course, believe that,
believe that.
who believe a lot of the things that Kenny says, and the trolls come in and throw that at you. And
Yeah, yeah. But, fundamentally, why it works is because through all of it, the comedy, the real life we've been through before we ever had a TV show, I fundamentally think I'm a better person, which is, it's stupid, but that's what I think. And he thinks the same about himself over me. And, yeah, I just think it's an interesting, I'm sure, that's why you like the show. It's a unique thing. I don't really know anything like it, whatever the hell we're
it
doing.
works so well because of that, because there's
Yeah.
that imbalance between the two of you.
Yeah, yeah, and it's real. I mean, it's it's real. It's the shit I deal with him. You know, wouldn't surprise you, and vice versa. I'm sure, right? It swings both ways, right?
Definitely, yeah. What's some things that fans don't know about you that you want to maybe let them know?
Um, well, that I love to learn. I guess maybe that's obvious. I don't know. And one sec. Sorry. Um, I don't know. I'm pretty in your face. I mean, I don't think there's a lot that there's not too much mystery going on, I suppose.
Yeah,
Um,
you're definitely an open book.
yeah, for better or for worse. And
But I think that's relatable to a lot of people too. And that allows a lot of people to be relatable.
yeah, I mean, I
To be
think people
open.
like it. I don't know any other way. I do think people like it. I think it's a bit different. I think like the way I am with fans is I don't know out of other celebrities that are, but I don't really follow other celebrities, but I sort
Speaking
of
of
have
that,
an
I was
interesting
always
relationship with the what?
speaking of that, they always say that you should never meet your heroes because you might be disappointed in them. And I
Yes.
wanted to know if there was ever anybody that you met that was maybe one of your heroes that
Yeah.
you were either pleasantly surprised by or you were just disappointed by, and they turned out
Well,
to be cool.
I mean, there's a lot of dynamics. I met Dennis Miller, who was one of my heroes, the comedian, and he was sort of in a bad mood, and the way we met, and it was just he didn't want to stop and talk. So it was like this, but I don't really blame him. But it doesn't make him any less of an amazing artist that I used to love. So I'm trying to think. I've met quite a few people. I mean, David Carradine is the wildest of them all that I used to hang around with. And people are nice, generally speaking. People are really nice, like the famous
Yeah,
people I've met. I can't think of any right now that are, uh, disappointing or overly was more than I thought they would be. They're just pretty much people, and I can't think of anything that stands out.
yeah, and that's always good when you have those good relationships with those people. And I mean, when I met you guys were incredibly nice to all the fans, and I remember it because I had all 6 seasons of Kenny versus Spenny on DVD, and I
Mhm.
brought it to the meet and greet, and you guys took the time to sign each and every one. And I thought that was really cool because some people are just like one per person, or
Yeah, I mean, I'm Kenny's much better with the fans than I am. I'm not social, so I don't like having to do the meet and greet. So, obviously I've been drunk and sort of an asshole to the people when they're coming up and doing their VIPs, which had more to do with the alcohol than anything else. But I don't particularly, I'm much more comfortable with this kind of communication, than when people are in your face and they're throwing drinks at you and whatever they're doing.
Yeah, and they want to buy you shots, or
And they
they
want,
spill drinks
they
on
want
you.
pictures and they want this and that. And at the best of times, I don't like to go out in a bar anyways, because I work in them, and, maybe a pub in the afternoon. I like pubs, but, yeah. Okay, a couple more and then I got to run. It's already.
Yeah, sounds good. Just kind of wanted to give you the kind of free space now to promote anything that you want. I know you guys have a couple online stores for your merch where I got the shirt and everything.
Yeah.
And maybe
What are you doing, a podcast?
No,
Oh.
I'm just kind of doing an interview with you, and this is my kind of first thing I ever really did anything with this. But maybe you wanted to promote something that you're going to be doing.
Why would I? Who are you going to show it to?
Well, I'm going to put it on my social medias.
Oh, okay. No, not really. I mean, just waiting for COVID to end and shows to begin, comedy shows, music shows, hopefully. No, I've got some stuff coming up on my YouTube channel, which is pretty new, and I should promote that. So yeah, I'm terrible at this part of the business.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. So the Spencer Rice YouTube channel is going to have some fun stuff on there. I think in the future we've got some good ideas. And watch out for Kenny and I on the road, and watch out for me playing music. And that's about it. That's all I can think of.
Well, we can't wait to get you guys back on stage. And once this is all over, hope to come out to a live show again. So,
Justin, fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Spenny.
All right. God bless. Stay safe.
Cheers.